What is that little buzz in the background? Anyone else hear that?
Slightly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, that's annoying me. Hello and welcome back to Sports for Dummies, the greatest sports podcast on the planet. My name is Josh, your guide to all things sports, and I'm joined by the man, the myth, the absolute dummy, John. And today we have a very special guest joining us, Tyler Wilsmore, a pro bodybuilder who holds his pro card. It's IBFF, is that correct?
UFE, which
UFE.
is a natural federation across sort of like North America, South America.
Yeah.
But there's an avenue from Australia to get over there.
Yeah.
And I achieved that in 2017.
Beautiful. No, well, he's a man who's met C-Bum, partied with Kyle Lowry,
Good times.
overall beast of a human, met him at the gym. Look at him. He's an Adonis. So we can welcome Tyler
Thank you
Wilsmore.
for
Hey,
having
mate,
me.
how are you?
Good, yourself?
Yeah, good,
That's
mate,
it,
good.
That's it. Weekends have been good.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
not too bad, not too
Lovely.
bad.
Lovely.
Work all Saturday and then
That's it.
just been excited to see you.
That's it. Beautiful.
Yep.
No, I've been looking forward to it. I did my back at the gym yesterday, everyone, but I'm still here.
That's called commitment.
Didn't want to
Commitment.
let the boys down, so I'm ready to go.
How are you feeling?
I've had my Pepsi Max. I've had a couple of painkillers, and we are good to go. Just call it pre-workout, really. Yeah.
No, very good. Well, as everyone can probably see, Tyler's in pretty good nick. Can you explain a little bit about your journey into bodybuilding and why you started?
So I used to play basketball at,
Yeah.
at a state level, representative level for Sandringham.
Yeah.
So I'm a Sandringham boy. I hurt my knee pretty bad, and I was around probably 18, 19 at the time. And I got in the gym, and I always used to see the people at the gym and the figures in the magazines, and I was like, you know what? I was always a skinny kid, but I had genetics on my side, and my old man, I seen a few pictures of him when he was younger, and I was like, it's going to help with the ladies. I just need to look, get in shape. And so I started going to the gym, and lo and behold, it just my physique just morphed very, very quickly when I was young, and I was like, yeah, this is good. And I was rehabbing the knee injury, and got back into basketball, and was like, oh, I'm a bit heavier. And things weren't happening as quickly as they used to with the basketball, because I had probably 10, 15 kilos on top of my frame after training for about 18 months, and you're getting a little bit of attention, you're feeling pretty good, and I just thought let's just keep going to the gym. The knee wasn't getting any better.
Yeah.
The cartilage was pretty shot, and I tried to keep playing up till about 24, but gym became the first love.
Yeah.
And I have an addictive personality, so what I did was I'm like, okay, I want to be the best version of myself, basically. Of the trainer there, who was well renowned, ex-bodybuilder, I'm going to go to him to learn. So I want my programming, what should I be eating, and it just went from there. And then I had a breakup with an ex-partner I was with for a long time. And when that happens, you tend to lose yourself a little bit, which is what happened a little bit. And that happened, and I was like, you know what, stuff this.
Unlimited
That's
motivation.
exactly where we've gone.
Unlimited motivation.
I am getting in shape. Yeah.
Unlimited motivation.
And it was basically like, you know what,
Can't sleep, go to the gym.
go to the gym. But it was more like, no, I'm gonna really just, you know what, now's my time. I'm getting in shape, and I'm going to give myself some time. I hooked up with a trainer, and I did a challenge. So it's like a 12-week challenge at Kickstart, and I was coming off a pretty low base. Considering that I'd always been athletic and in shape, but over that time, you kind of lose yourself. I got out of shape for what I deemed was like, all right, Tyler, you got to pull your finger out. Let's get back to what you used to do. So did the 12-week challenge and did a little photo shoot, and looked at the way that I envisaged I wanted to look. And this 12 weeks, I was balls to the wall. Every gram of food was measured, food prep, never missed a session, and I was training the house down, tick that box, and then it was like, okay, what's next?
Mm.
And then, I had a friend went through the same thing as me, so a bit of heartbreak, and he was, he said, "Oh, I'm going to get in shape too, and I'm going to do a show." And I was like, well, "I've done this 12-week challenge.
Mm.
What's next?" And I'm very much a like all or nothing. So if I do something, I'm doing it to be the best, or I just won't do it. There's no in between. So I'm like, "Oh, he's going to do that," and he goes, "Why don't you do it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I got no one else I got to answer to. Let's go." So then I did my research, and the same trainer trained me for the show. I ended up winning. So that was like a state title for A and B.
So how long had you, when you start, because you said you started joining the gym, later on when you were 18, 19.
Yeah.
When did you do your first competition? How long?
I was only like 29,
Okay.
turning 29. But I'd always been in the gym from 16. So I started in the shed, Dad's old dumbbells, lat pull down, chest press machine.
That was pretty much the same for me. Dad had the dip machine and all that, but I mean, I don't have the appearance of you, but
and
it's always good fun.
When you're younger, I had a metabolism like a fiend, which I still do. So I was able to eat, and I just couldn't put weight on. And then, I was always lean and always had the six pack, probably because I was skinny. But the gym was something that it was something that it doesn't move. You're in complete control. So you're only going to be as good as the effort you put in. And my dad taught me that a long time ago, and it's the same with basketball. So I was obsessive with anything I did. I was obsessive. Basketball, 500 shots before I go to school.
Yeah.
It was ball handling, 20 minutes. Get home. It was do your homework. It was go to practice. It was cool down. It was roll. It was ice baths. It was ice your ankles. Everything was done. I'd pick the best person. And the old saying goes, for example, you want to be the next millionaire, you've got to surround yourself with 4 others, you'll be the next one. It was like, I'm going to be the next elite athlete in whatever sport I chose. So I have to mimic what the best do to be the best that I can be. And that's sort of the addictive personality that I have. And it just sort of went from there.
Oh, that's great.
What positive were you with basketball?
I was a shooting guard.
Hence the 500 shots.
Yeah, but I was very athletic. So when the knee injury came, it robbed me of the athleticism.
Yeah.
Because I had the genetics on my side with the lifting the weights, and I was still playing A-grade men's on a Sunday night, I got jacked, and people started to take notice.
Yeah.
So I still was able to play at A-grade level, but you're a lot bigger, but you're a lot younger. So that in essence demanded a bit of respect. When you're in the gym, it's like the biggest guy.
You can see because you go
for the advice.
Prime example, we walk into the gym and we see you and we're like, holy crap. Like, you know what I mean? It's very much a thing.
You're doing well with your if anyone's seen his Instagram lately, the stories. He's got the summer rig happening. So
He hasn't worn a t-shirt in 4 months, which is good.
Needs a tan.
Absolutely.
I definitely need a tan.
But the rig it's coming.
It's looking good.
It's looking good.
Question, do you fake tan? Obviously for competitions.
Yes, I do for nothing but the competition.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So I know I've known some people who do.
No, I don't fake tan. I'm naturally olive skin, but the joke is I've had more fake tans than my wife. Yeah. And I've had more waxings than my wife too. Because I always have to wax down for all the shows and get the tans, and the tans are quite dark, so you need a couple of coats, and it's an interesting procedure.
How long does it take to prep for a competition with all that? With the waxing and the tanning?
So are we talking the prep with a food before you do a show?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I typically like longer preps, so therefore I'm not pushing the envelope for too long. Too much for a short period of time and putting your body in sort of like a state of shock. So I typically go anywhere from 22 weeks to 18 weeks. But in my head, I break it up. It's like a chessboard for me. It's like, okay, 22 to 16, I'm just getting the body ready for what's coming and getting my body in a rhythm with my training splits to figure out, I'm priming it ready to go for the next phase. 12 to 16, I'm starting to really kind of like put the car in first gear and start seeing the changes in the physique that are happening weekly with checking in with my coach. And then from 12 weeks to about 6 weeks, it becomes a mindset. So I've got to flick the switch so that my mind knows what I need to do, and you become a robot from about 12 weeks out. You're just executing a plan. And I'm very good at that because of the personality that I have, being slightly OCD.
Yeah.
You give me a plan, my mindset is I'll execute it better than anyone in the world. I might not be like Chris Bumstead, but I don't think, and this is just a mindset thing, not an arrogance thing, I don't think anyone can match me doing a 22-week prep if it comes down to who ticks the boxes better. So,
oh, that's great. What do you reckon the biggest challenges in bodybuilding have been for you? Aside, I know you mentioned your knee.
Yeah, so the knee, not so much. Actually, what a lot of people don't know, even judges, unless I tell them, my left elbow, I had a double dislocation when I was 8.
Oh.
So if you have a look at that.
How'd you manage that?
I fell out of a cubby house
right.
Easter Monday when I was 8. I actually can't turn this left arm.
True.
So what happened was it was actually going to be amputated if it didn't heal properly. I was 8.
Oh.
So when it came out of plaster, it was like that.
And you were told that news?
I got stood in an amphitheatre of all these doctors that flew from all over the world in Australia to figure out what we should do surgery-wise, or whether we should just naturally let it heal, see how we go with, strenuous physiotherapy. And I was 8, so I'd stand up there, shirt off, probably similar to bodybuilding, in front of people in an amphitheatre.
Yeah. So you were fine.
You were fine. It's all natural.
Yeah, I went through the poses and everything, and I was all good. They decided no surgery, but it was the worst dislocation they'd ever seen. So Dr. Peter Hannon out of Monash I was in and out of hospital from 8 to about 20. And up until I was probably 14, it was every single Thursday.
Yeah, right.
And I used to have to go and get checked up and do all my physio, and I have to wear splints at night. My hand was like that. It didn't work. I have no feeling in it. And I could only move my arm 10 degrees. So now it's,
I was going to say, mate, you get to the gym and you're just pulling ridiculous amount of weight.
But I have a tendency, it's a little bit of feeling there's lost, and it's very tender. So I can often get pins and needles from the nerve damage that was done in my arm.
And you don't have full mobility, as you were saying.
I can't turn it. So my training for the gym, even basketball, I had to relearn how to dribble left-handed.
Yeah.
The gym, I've had to manipulate exercises to suit my genetic makeup with my injury, but I don't look at it like an injury, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that has been the biggest challenge, because in my head, it becomes something you can't ever forget. And you think when you're getting judged in a sport like bodybuilding that they're looking at all your flaws. So I thought the biggest challenge would be, and the reason why I maybe didn't win some shows, was because it's my left arm. It's the same when I'm down the beach. If you're down the beach and your shirt's off, I got a tendency not to show my left side, because I would think in my head, people are going, what the hell's wrong with his arm?
Yeah.
But no one knows unless I tell them. And with bodybuilding, the judges, when you get your report at the end of the show, depending on how you went, they've never ever flagged that my left side was thinner than my right, because if you look at the size difference, there is a slight size difference. Now, once you see it,
I've never noticed it.
You've never noticed it, but in my head,
you know the measurements of every part of your body, and you would, I guess, when you're prepping for a competition.
Exactly. So that it was getting over that challenge, because prep to me is easy, because all I need to do is have a plan there to execute, and if I know what it is, I've got no issue. But it was training around this. So when I had a coach, it was like, oh, we're going to do this. Oh, I can't do that. I've actually had this wrist reconstructed one time.
Yeah.
Early on when I started gym, I wanted to be like everyone else. Everyone who wants a big chest, what's the exercise we all do? Bench press on the barbell. I can't actually do it because the wrist doesn't sit in the proper position.
Yeah, right.
So I have to manipulate my exercises so that it naturally tracks in line with my anatomical makeup with the injury. And ongoing trying to bench like everyone else, tore all the cartilage in my wrist. I needed my wrist reconstructed at 22.
Yeah, right.
So for all that, you can't do bench press like you said, like you
Not
think
barbell.
you're supposed to, and you're bigger than everybody else.
Debatable. Debatable.
You get
But
the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
That just shows when people, I guess, have an excuse.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do this because of that. There is no excuse.
That's right. So I was always like, and this has been ever since I was little because of the arm being so young, and I started playing basketball in under nines, that I had to train harder than anyone else to be as good, because I felt like I was starting from a peg back because of what I would call when I was younger a disability, because I couldn't do certain things that others could do. And so the bodybuilding, when you do your bro split, when that's the first thing you learn in the gym when you're young, bro split, chest Monday, international chest day, Tuesday, back, legs, arms, shoulders. My certain movements, and it's any movement in the gym, I'd always have to think around it after the wrist injury happened. And sometimes I ask myself, I just wish I was normal, but I'm not. And then sometimes I'd be like, you know what? It's good that I'm not normal, But for some reason, even with basketball, it's like, why do I always have to try so hard just to get the skill back that I had before I hurt myself? So
if you were normal, you might have given up with
potentially
with those restrictions. A lot of somebody, I guess, in the gym who had that couldn't bench press, they would just quit. You figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe if you were normal.
That's right. So, that's been the biggest challenge, both psychologically and physically, because even though no one cares or thinks what you're thinking, in your head, you're always thinking that they're judging you based on, what I would call my mangled arm, but it's really not.
Touching on that, what's it like when you are on show and getting judged? Like you're out there, you've done all this work. Like, what's that process like?
The feeling is, for me, it's like I would call myself an introverted extrovert, but when I'm on stage, I feel like I finally found where I'm supposed to be, because I'm getting judged. But, they don't know who you are, so you can just be yourself.
Yeah.
And they're not judging your personality. They're judging what your physique looks like. So bodybuilding for me was a way of, when you're growing up and you're different, in the generation I grew up, so there was a bit of racism there with my skin colour at school and things like that. But then when you find when you're younger that you have something that others don't, it's a lot easier to put a mask on and have them just judge that. And so with bodybuilding, it was like the physique is good, and that's what's being judged, and that's the purity of the sport. So they're not looking at anything I've done or me in person or how I look physically, other than the physique I'm presenting on stage. So it's exciting. It's a different excitement though. It's a nervous tension. Because you often don't, at the amateur level, you often don't know who's going to rock up or how you're going to go. And anyone who's in shape looks good on their own, but put them with 5, 6, 10 other people, and quickly you can see who's superior and sort of where people place. So I like the fact that, you're just judged on the purity of the physique, and it's a feeling like if anyone's competed, or that they can understand that you just can't really explain. To me, it's like you're putting on a show.
What would you say the most memorable moment from competing would be? Have you had any?
The Toronto World Title. So I've done 3 of those, 3, 4. My now wife came over with me in 2018, and I got third. Now, I've placed higher But it was the fact that the year before I'd failed in my eyes because I didn't place as high as I thought I would. So getting top 3 in a world title event.
So how many people? Like I wouldn't know.
There was like 12.
Yeah, that's
from all different countries. Then we went back in 2019 and got second, and then COVID hit. So, and now my wife's heavily pregnant. So, the plan.
Oh, you wanted to get the number one.
I wanted to.
You wanted
It still may happen. We have flirted the idea of, and my wife has asked, when are they releasing this podcast? I want to hear it, so I've got to be real careful what I say. But she will say we have spoken about it because we have, darling, we have, that potentially I am 40 in 2025.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe you're 40.
Yeah.
I actually did not think that you were 40.
I'm old now.
You don't look it.
No,
You're in
thank
great
you. I
shape.
appreciate that.
You're in great shape.
Thank my mother for that, the genes. But
I think you work hard for your body as well.
so I work. I love it.
That
Yeah,
helps.
train hard and eat well. You are what you eat, as they say. But look, I'm going to do a show this year. Start prep in June. That's the plan. Baby's due in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
So all going well with that. We've been sort of getting the body ready so that I can put the foot on the gas with a prep from June, and the show is the 3rd of November. So that's the PCA Nationals.
Where's that?
That's in Melbourne. So that's
Okay.
at the Drum Theatre in Dandenong. Now, last year I did that show.
Can we come if you do
can
it?
come, yep.
You
I
can?
can sort tickets, yep.
Yeah, nice.
That's cool.
Look, that's a non-tested federation, which is in line with the IFBB.
So when you say non-tested,
So people are allowed to take PEDs.
yeah.
I don't. I do it all naturally. And last year I got second in the Masters. Masters is 37 and up. And third in the men's open.
Yeah.
So this year it's like, okay, I want to do better. But at the same time, it's like this could be the last show, and I don't feel like I want to have to do the show overseas. It's a lot with a newborn.
Yeah.
Travel 23 hours on the planes. It's crazy. So
this could be the last.
this
hurrah.
could be the last one from a competitive standpoint. Been doing it a long time now, so I'm probably, that'll be coming up 10 years. So that's what a career in any sport at sort of
Absolutely
like the top
at the
level.
elite level. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, I will retire, but never say never in regards to Toronto and what that might look like for my 40th, and that's like your 40th present. Just give it one last crack. But look, I've got a beautiful daughter on the way, so that trumps anything.
Of course.
And if we don't get to Toronto, I'm a big believer in what's meant to be
There's
will be.
a
So
reason for that.
there's a reason for that, exactly. So we'll just have a crack at the PCA this year. And again, we just have to wait and see how we go with this, the baby. I haven't had one before. This will be my first. So
Nice.
I'm being told, get ready to not sleep. And people at work are telling me that your rig's not going to look like that for long, and make the most of it. Get as many photos of yourself as you can. And again, that sort of set a challenge. It's like, no. I'm redefining this whole dad bod thing, and I'm bringing it back, and I'm going to stay in shape. But yeah,
I can't picture you from the brief time that I've met you, and obviously how much shape you're in. That even when you do quote unquote retire, that you will ever.
I'll always.
You will
train.
always keep in
Yeah,
some
always
shape.
train, always
You might
train.
find something else to do. Like your shape might change a little bit, but I
Yeah.
couldn't picture you becoming. We just see Tyler in 6 months, just
He's
huge.
I
could never picture that.
I don't think it's in my wheelhouse to be. It's not that you put your life on whether you're in shape or you're out of shape. It's
Sure.
it's a lifestyle you
Correct.
just grow up doing.
Yeah.
And you either it's the same as people that play golf socially on the weekend. It's like their thing. And just going to the gym, as you boys know, it's as good physically as it is for your mental health. And it's also, like, I call it quiet time, because no one can really bother you. You see all the boys you know, you have a chin wag, how's your week's been? And it's like it's a good camaraderie that we have happening with a fair few of the boys at the Anytime in Mornington. So shout out to Anytime Mornington for their beautiful facility we use.
It's the best. I went
really
over.
good.
I was
It's
in
the best one
Geelong.
there.
I was in Geelong at Port Arlington, and
No good?
oh, one of everything.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
this?
Josh was sending me a
We're spoiled.
Josh
We're
was
spoiled.
sending me a photo of it. I'm like, so you're at the bitch gym.
He literally said that, and I'm like, oh, that's a bit harsh. I think it's pretty good walk in. I'm like, get me out of
we
here.
are.
We're definitely spoiled at the gym we use. But yeah, I just love to train. I love the
Yeah.
feeling it gives me. I love the freedom. And you're only challenging yourself.
Well, you said for your 40th birthday present, you'd potentially go over to Toronto if you could.
Yeah, my wife didn't hear that right. I think, yeah.
No,
If
definitely didn't hear that.
Maybe. We'll see.
A big
We'll
maybe.
see. Big
There's
maybe.
going to be a conversation about the conversation.
There will be a conversation had when she's heard this podcast going, yeah, right.
I've torched
it. Yeah, so I'll probably be in trouble when I get home, boys, but that's all right. Let's just enjoy the time we got left alive. Yeah.
And we never saw Tyler again.
No.
Why is Tyler not at the gym?
Yeah.
Sent a few texts, just
Yeah,
nothing.
dead.
No, the one thing I will say, Ed, just like your attitude towards that, you could tell you're at the elite level with your devotion, but anyone who would probably be having a 40th would probably just want to have a few drinks, alcohol, enjoy it.
I do love a beer. I do.
You
love
do?
a beer. Yeah.
But I'm curious, how does your, like for anyone out there who isn't at that elite level of bodybuilding, but just wants to stay in shape, like how does your week look in terms of training? And then do you have any advice?
From the elite level, or just if I was
If
getting into the gym?
If you were getting into the gym, and then answer it, I'll ask you for the bodybuilding.
So, look, if I was getting into the gym, I guess I just wind back the clock to why I started. And you got to have a why you want to go. A lot of people that I think go to the gym start going because they feel they need to. And there's that pressure that we get from social media to look a certain way. Whereas I think you've got to ask yourself, why do I actually want to go? And if you're doing something you truly enjoy, you're going to do it for a long time, and it does become part of your lifestyle. But to answer your question,
That's a really great answer. So it's funny, so many people, it's like diet and how you feel your body and all those things. Why would you do that? But if you don't know the why,
so you've got to ask yourself. It's not like
That's why they drop off after you hear the joke of Jan 1st. How many memberships are bought Jan 1st, and are probably cancelled by the end of Feb.
Gym's full at the moment with people I've never seen before, and look, I hope they all stick at it, and I hope the gym culture's slowly changing, that they might see people like yourselves or me or anyone else there that looks like they've trained and know what they're doing to a degree.
Oh, thank you for that flattering compliment. I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Especially those photos going around on the screen.
No, we don't speak about that. Private account. No,
I started maybe 3-4 months ago, so to be mentioned in the same sentence. But I love it though. It is. It's fun.
And like you both go together at the gym, so
correct.
it's like training partners. I have just gone with my wife, but then I've got people.
Love that. You guys are there. You guys are there all the time, even while she's pregnant, and you're there every night, all the time.
All the time we come in together. Yep. She, she's pregnant, so she doesn't love it as much as me, but that's actually how we met. She's a dietitian by trade.
Yeah, right.
And I will always say, oh, she slid into my DMs. She was actually working for the supplement company I was sponsored by. Okay. And I had to go and do a few things for the company, and she was like the manager of the store at the time, working at the store, and just sort of she will tell the story. She added me because she saw my meal prep, and at that time she was entertaining whether she wanted to go down that path of competing as well, and being a dietitian, and she was at uni at the time, meal prep sort of stuck out to her, and that's how it all kind of started. So
if she's a dietitian, do you guys have arguments on like the perfect diet? Who wins this?
Well, I will say happy wife, happy life.
That was well answered.
That was well played. That was scripted.
That was really because I know she's going to be listening to it.
Like a hostage with a knife.
No, but her knowledge is understandably next level regarding the scientific proof and
Yeah.
evidence-based practices for food and dietitian. So she's actually taught me a lot. I was always very, very regimented and still am to a degree with my food before I met her and even when we were together initially. And she's taught me there's more to life than just the food I was eating at the time. Because I literally ate these same meals 6 times a day, every day of the year for at least 3 years.
Why are you looking at me?
3 years straight without changing it. And I have a very difficult time with change.
How often are you meant to change meals? So we're on a plan.
Yep.
We call it Ivan Drago.
I like that.
No, there's a genuine cousin.
So my cousin lives in Spain. He competed like you in Spain. So I think he did Madrid once.
Nice.
He's an Adonis like you.
Yeah.
So we were all, because I got 4 older brothers, we were all got out of shape.
Yeah.
So we've got this cousin. Like, who's in phenomenal shape. So I use him. Like, I pay him. Like, he looks after diet program and whatnot.
Yeah.
I like the regiment of it. I've just started, obviously.
Yeah.
So I like, I've gone from drinking 12 whiskeys and a Big Mac every day to this crazy routine. So you're saying that's all you did? Like, you were just strict?
I've got an app on my phone and we'll prove it. Give me a day and give me a meal number in the last
You record it?
2 years. I record everything.
Okay.
And I'll pull it up on this app and tell you to the gram what I ate.
Yeah, right.
So pick a day, pick a meal.
Do you say the last 2 years?
Pick a year.
October 1st, 2023.
All right.
Is it your birthday?
Yeah, it's just the first one to come down to me.
What did you eat then, Johnny?
October 1st, 2023. I can tell you it was a day off, and I'll tell you what I ate. There you go. It was a shred for the honeymoon.
Oh, wow.
All right, so I can tell you.
What's this app?
This is called Chronometer.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a low day, and I was on a bit of a cut. So I was trying to get in shape because I knew honeymoon, Torquay,
Lovely.
summer, rig might come out. Let's make sure we're in shape. But also, it means that I can eat more if I'm in shape. That's sort of how I rationed it to myself. So I was on 2,000 calories. It's a low day, which means I wasn't training, so it's a day off. So my days off are always a little bit lower in food consumption.
Okay.
I had pick a meal. Tell me what number.
Meal 2.
How many meals do you have?
6.
You have
So
6
meal-
meals a day.
meal-
All right,
meal
meal 5.
two.
And I want to know what's like close to dinner.
I'll give you 2 and then I'll give you 5. So meal 2, we had 732 calories, 70 grams of protein, 50 carbs, 26 grams of fat. We
Holy
had
shit.
55 grams of Woolworths Australian rolled oats. We had Woolworths frozen mixed berries, 100 grams.
Got the
We had
brands?
33 grams of Maver's peanut butter crunchy.
Beautiful. We love
And
that.
we had 70 grams of Musashi 100% whey chocolate flavour. That's meal 2.
So it's like a snack almost.
Yeah.
But that's a really big snack.
Nah, that's not a big snack at all.
So
55
oats-
grams is nothing.
Peanut butter.
I had 10 Wheat Bix today. Like,
How many do you do?
So
That's-
after every meal, you will write it in that
no,
app.
it's already pre-recorded.
Okay.
So I'll check in with my coach every Saturday and we'll look at my weight and how I look, and then he'll adjust accordingly depending on what phase we're in. So whether we're doing a mini cut, having a diet break, we're in prep, we're deep in prep.
Where are you now?
We are off season, so we are
10 Wheat Bix.
a little bit more flexible.
Yeah.
But still, if I went to today, it's preset.
So you have a coach all times?
Yeah. We have it. Yeah, it's preset what I eat.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But because we had a little back injury yesterday, because I have barely been able to move today, we've pulled the food right down. So I've just manipulated it myself to eat what I want within reason based on how much energy I'm using.
Yeah.
But the Wheat Bix is one of my favourite meals, and I'd only had some ground beef and some veggies in the morning or when I got up. So the Wheat Bix was like, it's like a treat.
Yeah.
It's on the plan to have 10 today.
Is that in one go?
Yeah, easily.
That's what I used to eat when we were 16 playing footy.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Dad used to say, you got to, when I was younger as a teenager, you got
Just
to
eat Wheat
beef
Bix.
up. And he's like,
Do
eat
push-ups
Wheat
and Wheat Bix.
Yeah.
Eat Wheat
How
Bix.
many do you do?
Yeah, how many
I
did you
reckon
do? They were the greatest
Yeah,
ads. That was great ads.
How
I
many
did 10.
did you do?
I did 10 times 4
I reckon he's going to have...
So the most I did in the last 3 weeks, I did 14.
in a day.
No, in one meal.
In one meal, yeah.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
10 by 4. So it was 40 a day
Yeah,
from 16 to 17.
40 a day?
that's good.
That's massive.
That's record.
I reckon I was around 12.
Then just push-ups.
Just one meal, 12. That was it.
Yeah, it's underrated Wheat Bix,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
isn't it? Bit
Yeah.
of honey as well.
Coming back to that, so you said your wife sort of made you a little bit more relaxed with how did that come to about? Was there a scientific...
There was a lot of pushing from me,
Okay.
like, no, this is what I mean. But, you know, I won't tell her that often, but she's quite smart in her profession and what she was doing, that I go, well, I'm not a qualified dietitian and she is. It just allowed me to eat a wider ranging variety of foods that still fit in with what I needed to be eating from a macro standpoint.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know, macros is like, okay, I've got to be eating 250 grams of protein spread across 6 meals. I've got to be having 300 grams of carbs spread across 6 meals and 50 grams of fat, for example. And so we were able to manipulate and change the diet to include a wider ranging amount of food. So like your Wheat Bix or your oats with your mixed berries, banana, honey, red meat, fish, chicken, steak. Whereas early on in the career, it was very like...
Well, what's the strict meal? What was like when you were just
way
regimen?
back.
Yeah, what was your ultimate regimen?
Oh, I do all chicken bar one meal.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas now, I could do salmon. I love my fish. I could do salmon once a day, and I was doing salmon once a day, every day, probably up till about 6 weeks ago. And then just added the Wheat Bix in, took the salmon out, rejigged a few things with other food in terms of the amounts. And now we're doing some red meat. We're doing a couple of meals of chicken. One's got white potatoes. One's got sweet potato. We've got oats. We've got fruit, things of that nature. Because we are in off-season and I can be a bit flexible, we've got things like we might have a family function, so there'll be...
Do you have a cheat meal?
Yeah, I don't call it a cheat meal. But I make an allowance for it. So let's say as an example where...
That leads me to my next question. What's your favourite cheat meal?
Oh,
Like, if you're going and you're like spurging,
okay.
it's not on that. It doesn't get
no,
recorded.
It doesn't go on
I'd like
because it's too much to record.
I'd like to hear the
Okay.
psychology by why you don't call it a cheat meal as well.
Because if you call it a cheat meal, in my belief, you make an excuse to say you could have it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whereas...
That's so true.
Yeah.
Like, why are we cheating?
shouldn't
Why are
cheat,
you
right?
cheating
You
on
shouldn't
your
ever cheat, yeah.
If you call it a cheat meal, you'll often eat more
That's so true.
than what you should or intend to.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just manipulate it where, okay, we're going out. Say we were going out for dinner, pick a place in Mornington that we like. Boys.
Let's go to
Main
Doc.
Street, Doc. Can't go wrong. So I go, okay, Doc, is it a training night or is it a day off?
Training.
Training.
Oh, then we can eat more pizza. So is it after training or before?
Before.
I was going to say after. I want to have a few drinks.
Hang on, we all go to the gym at like late at night.
Yeah,
So let's go before.
Yep.
So then I just wouldn't eat. I'd cut the carbs out because we're going to Doc and that's pizza. For anyone that doesn't know,
It's Italian. How are we cutting the carbs out?
No, I cut the carbs out early in the day,
Oh, yes. Sorry. I thought you meant cut it out.
and then maybe and then my pre-workout meal that I usually would have, which would be at the moment, it's like oats and honey and peanut butter, and I'd take that meal out, and then have the Doc pizza.
That makes sense.
So it's not a measured approach where it's
Interesting.
like, hey, I'm replacing this with this, and it's bang on the number that I need to have,
course.
especially in the off season.
Yeah.
But it just allows me to be more flexible and more social. Early in my career, I was not that. So if I had to eat, I had to eat. And that means I wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
Because I'm not missing a meal. And if I did come out, the food came with me, which it still does, but obviously not to Doc. But if I was going to a family thing and we're getting ready for a show, I've been to weddings where I'd be like, we were at this $250,000 wedding at Crown last year. And
You're just sitting there with you.
This is before the show. This is like 2 weeks out. I was 2 weeks out. And you're starting to get pretty serious at 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
And it was freezing. And it was at the Avery or something at Crown.
Yeah.
One of the real nice rooms. Rooftop.
Yeah.
So I'm out there. I didn't even heat it up. And sometimes I don't because you can't. So I had the chicken, I had the sweet potato, and I had some veggies. And I stood out there in the freezing cold, ate it, came back into the wedding. And all I had at the wedding was water. None of the food.
Wouldn't have had a drink either.
Didn't have a drink either. No. So if it's on, it's on. I don't stray. But if it's off season and let's go to dock, I'd go, cool. What day are we going? Saturday, cool. Okay, that's a high carb day, cool. What I'll do, I'll take out these 2 meals and replace that with having the pizza so I can be social and enjoy the...
Helps you physically, but also the mental side, you know you've cut out something so you don't feel a bit better eating it.
But I've only been doing that the last couple of years. So that's probably a regret of mine is that because I am so OCD and with the bodybuilding...
A plan is a plan. You stick to the plan.
Yeah. Whereas now my wife has taught me to, it's okay. It's actually not that bad. Whereas I'd freak out if like we cooked a meal one day and I must have been half asleep because I was prepping. And for anyone that does a show, your prep brain is prep brain, which means you can forget things. I over measured on the rice and I was like, oh no. And I've just cooked a whole day's worth of it. I'm like, oh shit. So then I took all the rice out of the meals and recooked it again to make sure it was right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What you do to win though?
Yeah. Well, in my day, that's my mindset. But now it's like a lot more flexible now.
Yeah.
And it's
but still so disciplined. Like anyone who would be watching this would be like, wow, you're incredibly disciplined with your eating habits, which is a great quality.
Yeah.
It's one thing that I think is harder than...
A lot of sacrifice though, and my wife's very understanding.
Yeah.
So anyone that wants to do bodybuilding that's listening, get yourself a wife that understands the sport because there's no switch that turns it off. Even in the off season, you're on because you've got to get X amount of calories and food in your meals, and then when you're on season, you have to sacrifice a lot. You still go to family gatherings, you just can't eat the food. Now my wife's Lebanese, so Lebanese food is next level.
Yeah.
So there's been many a times where I've gone, but I pack my own food and eat that.
It's like
instead of eating.
What does her family say to that?
Initially it was difficult.
Sure.
They didn't quite understand it as a cultural, background where food is at the forefront. When someone like that offers you food and you turn it down, can be slightly offensive, I'd say. So, it took a bit of adjusting, but they understood it to the point where it got to a point where they just expected that I would bring my own food.
Yeah.
Are you eating today? Yeah, I can eat this today. But
you can fit it in nowadays. It's like
I fit it in now,
Yeah, you make sure of it.
Yeah,
I remember there's
too good not to.
Oh, I can imagine. There's a video of a guy, he's at, I think it was viral on social media. He's at a festival and he's like jacked and he's just like eating his like pre-made meal, like just like nodding and he's just like eating. That's literally what
I've been doing for 10 years nearly,
Yeah.
There you go. But to answer your question about the cheat meal, after every show, I always give myself one day or meal, but it's always the same. So it's a lot.
I want to know.
Okay, so it's a family pizza.
Yep.
Half, capricciosa and Mexicana.
Yep.
A garlic bread, wedges, and then 6 Daniel's donuts.
Oh, what Daniel's donuts are you going? A bit of everything?
Yeah, I vary it.
Yeah,
I vary it.
And you'll smash that.
In one sitting?
No problem. After the world titles, there's a photo here of a breakfast I had. It was 6 eggs, it was a steak, it was 500 grams of potatoes, and it was 10 pancakes.
Oh my goodness.
I'll see if I can find the photo.
It's like, you seen what Paddy the Baddy does? how he gets really ripped for fighting and then as soon as he wins, he orders 7. He gets like 8 burgers.
Yeah,
I've definitely got it on here. I remember when I posted it. It's a great breakfast.
I must say,
I'm very hungry.
I'm hungry after talking. We did this last time in the gym. Remember after New Year's?
Oh, when he was telling us what they were having.
Tyler's like, look at our amazing platter of food.
I will ask Tyler this because this is something I've gone from eating complete crap to really strict myself.
Yeah.
I've got this weird perversion with food now because I am so strict in what I've eaten, and it's worked because the results in 3 months is ridiculous. But did you get the same too, where you like, I hear someone talk about pizza, I love it. I like just talk to me, just talk dirty to me.
Yeah.
Did you get that when you were going through it? Like when you started eating so strict, like you had this weird relationship with food?
No, what I would do is it'd be like, okay, 12 weeks, and you start to see these changes.
Okay.
So the vision that you had before you start is coming to life. And it's actually you that it's happening to. It's not you watching someone else's story. So that drives you to push even harder. And it takes away the fact you have to think about that other food. However, when you've done like a show or a challenge, you do have to reward yourself. Otherwise, where's the fun in it?
Sure.
But the reward comes in the balance of not just going, I got there, so I'm going to eat whatever for 2 weeks, because you make yourself sick. So I always used to just choose one meal, but anyone that knows me knows if we go out, I don't look at the menu per se. I'm more ask the waiter, hey, look, what's the biggest thing you got on the menu? Because I can seriously eat food. And then that's what I order because I need a lot to fill me up. So I pick one meal and then straight back on the wagon the next day, eating the same food I did. And I just do what's called a reverse diet, where I add a small amount of carbohydrates into the food every, say, 4 or 5 days until I'm up to a maintenance calorie or slight surplus. And then I might add an off-the-plan meal once a week.
Yeah,
so whether that's going out to dock with you boys on a Saturday, or it could be going out to dinner with the wife, or, I just changed the day that I had that off-the-plan meal and a couple of off-the-plan snacks. So if I have, something as simple as biscuits and cheese with Vegemite, then I would take out, the banana from the oats. It's not measured as such to say, yep, I'm swapping exactly this amount for this amount. It's just balancing out generally.
What you're about to do.
Yeah. So you're kind of like 90%, 95% on, and 5% you're just a little bit fluctuated, but you are measured in your approach in terms of subbing something out and putting something in.
Yeah.
And some days it's just like, oh, well, it's one day, a little bit extra isn't going to hurt. An ice cream on a hot day, if my wife and I like an ice cream every now and then, I'll have an ice cream. It's not a big deal. But earlier in the career, to me, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I think the learning and the maturity comes, and that's where I think people get themselves in trouble with food and challenges and wanting to get in shape and signing up to the gym, that the gym and getting in shape per se, there's a lot more to it than just going to the gym. It's about the food, and then it's about the relationship with food and making sure that we're not putting something out there that's could be harmful to someone that looks up to you and goes, oh, I want to look like him, I'm going to do what he does. So,
you would see that a lot on social media. There's so much out there. There's so much out there. Now I'm going to ask you what you would do. That's quite ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I hear the old thing, like a calorie deficit is just the best way to lose fat.
True.
Would you reckon that's...
True. And then it's about where you put your carbohydrates in and around training.
What's that for?
So a lot of people, when they go calorie deficit, go, sweet, I'm going to train balls to the wall, but I'm not going to eat bugger all.
Okay.
And that works for so long, but it's not a healthy approach.
No, you burn out, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Energy levels,
out,
you just
but
fatigue.
you also increase your risk of strains, tears, pulls, injuries. From a men's perspective, your libido is going to suffer. From a woman's perspective, the menstrual cycle is going to suffer or disappear if you're not having enough food.
Yep.
So when you train, think of training like we all love cars, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll give you an analogy. Yeah, what's your favorite? Well, so you can pick a car that you could have.
GT3 RS Porsche.
Porsche, love it. Right now,
There's one at the gym.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that one.
I think it's a GT2.
I don't know who knows who owns it.
No.
But well played to the person that does, because that's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
Mine's an Eleanor GT500.
Yeah.
Now, any of those nice cars take premium fuel, so you're not going to put diesel in a GT3.
Very true.
And you can't drive to Sydney if you're only a quarter of a tank.
Yeah.
Right. So.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So
no one says that.
So when you're on a calorie deficit, you're on less and you're burning more, but you're going to go train. And training is driving your nice car. And you've got to get through the session. So driving the car, you've got to get to Sydney. Right? You are going to have to refuel, of course, with Sydney, but no one leaves to go to Sydney on a quarter of a tank. They always fill up full.
Yeah.
So carbohydrates give you energy. So we put the energy in the car, which is the human body to train. Training will burn the energy and put the energy where it needs to go, like the carbohydrates to fuel your muscles. And then we refuel after training with more food with carbohydrates in it so that it's utilised.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
But your other food choices during the day can always put you in a calorie deficit. So you are going to drop the fat and get leaner, but you're fueling yourself while you're training. So your performance in the gym, yes, it will suffer to a degree because you're in a deficit, but it's not going to suffer as much as if you do the typical social media driven approach of less food, more movement and training. So therefore I'm going to get leaner.
What do you think of fasting then?
Yeah, good.
You think it's good?
Everything has its place and it's all about balance.
Okay.
To be fair, I fasted till midday today because I hurt my back and I had...
You couldn't really make yourself anything.
I couldn't make it.
And shout out, please, whoever's watching, please just comment thanks Tyler, because this is epic content and for anyone who's watching. But he's done his back. That should have been on the introduction.
Badly. To the point where my wife missed the family barbecue today to come over and look after me. She actually helped dress me to get here.
We just sound like terrible people now that for having you.
I'm a
dedication.
I'm a team player.
He's committed.
I said, I'm not letting
We
the
do
boys
appreciate
down.
it.
I'm going to work tomorrow. I'm just tough it up.
No, I love it. So fasting's good.
Fasting has its place. So things like when you're sick and you don't have an appetite, just because you might be going to the gym and you think, I need to eat, it's really not going to be that harmful, because if you've got like an upset stomach and your digestion's off, what's going to happen if you eat?
So you're just going to put it back up?
Put it back up. So, and an example of when I've done the world titles, it's a long trip and I don't want to hold water, because then when I get there, I've got to go sweat it out to get rid of it. So I don't eat when I travel. Right. I don't eat when I travel, and therefore I hold no water. So I get off, and then...
So you'll fast before a competition?
Yep.
Essentially.
When I'm flying over, and I come in a week before. But then because I've fasted, not only there's a few benefits, you give your digestive system a break, particularly if you're really pushing the food in like a bulking period or whatnot, but you also, like if you're flying overseas, I don't hold any water, but you increase your insulin sensitivity, which means that when you put the food back in, the body's going to be wanting it more. So it's going to get more efficiently utilised. Okay. So everything has its place.
Will you throughout the week? Will you fast? Obviously, today was an exemption.
Today was an exemption, doing my back. But I've done things like I like Christmas. I trained in the morning, so I had food before and after, and I had some liquid carbs in my drink whilst I'm training, so I've got the energy. Yeah. But then I didn't eat until I got to Christmas lunch.
Because you knew you had this big, massive
meal. And I always give myself Christmas off anyway. Yeah. But ingrained in me is I'm going to eat a lot, so I don't need all the other food beforehand, because it's going to go to waste. So I try and strike a balance.
Manipulate the other meals to what you need.
To strike a balance. Okay. So, if I know it's a day off on a Sunday and there's a big family function and the Lebanese, we can really eat. and I class myself as half Lebanese now, we can really eat. So I might have a little snack in the morning, and it's less than what I normally would, but it might be one of the normal foods I'll have, or I might even do a smoothie.
Yeah.
And then I just fast until 6 o'clock at night because I know we're going to get stuck into the food. And so from an overall, and I don't do this all the time, but depending on what stage I'm at, sometimes I just don't feel like eating 4,000 calories when I'm bulking.
Mm-hmm.
And so every 2 weeks, and I've done this and practiced it myself, every fortnight or second Sunday, I would fast completely and wouldn't even eat all day until Monday morning.
Yeah, right.
And then when the food went back in, because the calories are high, my body had just come alive. The pumps in the gym would be great. I'm able to eat more food because it's increased my metabolism again and got it fired up again. When you're eating a lot of food for a long period of time, trying to get muscle and weight on, quite often you can have some digestive stress and issues. So it's just giving your digestive system a bit of a break.
Yeah. Was that something your wife said as well? I feel like that's it's a really clever...
Yeah, it was my coach's...
Because it's changed, and I know you said that...
do it, yeah.
Yeah.
But my wife is like... Well,
what's your wife's name, by the way?
Chantel.
Chantel.
If you're not...
Thanks for letting him hear Chantel,
yeah,
by the way.
That's right. Yeah, with bad back. But if you're not hungry, don't eat.
Yeah.
Early in my career, it was like, 6 meals on the plan, got to eat them all. So if I'm not hungry, I won't eat. And then I'll just eat when my body tells me I need the food.
Yeah.
And you end up getting the food in anyway, but you just might eat a little bit later into the day and whatnot. But if I'm eating when I'm not hungry, it's going to end up coming out because it's not going to get utilised anyway. So you're technically just wasting the food. And a lot of the young guys go, I'm bulking, but I'm eating this. And it's not necessarily measured, but it's like, in my eyes, it's like an excuse just to eat shit. Because they go, but the scale says I'm 90 kilos because I'm eating all this food. But then you wonder, what's the digestive system doing? Is it being utilised? And is the weight you're putting on good weight?
Yeah.
And more often than not, it's not good weight, which means when you do diet down to want to get really lean, you just got to diet harder for longer. And the less you need to do long term when you get really lean, and the more food you can eat when you're really low, so like when you're really low body fat and you're still eating 2,000 calories, which generally is as low as I'll go, in anyone normal's eyes, 2,000 calories is still a reasonable amount of food.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't
that the average?
Yeah, male of our age is about 2.5, 2.4, 2.5.
Yeah.
So that's the least I'll get.
Yeah.
And when I am lean and I'm eating 2,000, I feel like I'm eating nothing because I'm used to eating 3,500.
Yeah.
So it's
all relative.
It's all relative, exactly.
So when you go to the gym, I know your program you've told me, but for anyone who's watching, what would you say your program is when your typical week at the gym? How are you training?
Yep. So like just generally, it will depend. So let's start with calories. I'm in a surplus. So I'm eating plenty of food. So I really like the push-pull leg split.
Yep.
And I'll tailor that workout to be things that I like, keeps the motivation up if you're doing things you like, but also what I know works for my body in terms of the exercise. So with the bad back, I have to avoid barbell squats.
Yep.
So at our gym, we've got the belt squat, and with the bad knee as well, I'll chuck some bands on either side of the leg press, and it softens the load going through the knees.
Yeah.
But adds more resistance, so you don't have to put on as much weight. So therefore, it looks after my tendons, ligaments, and my joints.
Yeah.
So I'll typically push-pull legs when I'm in a surplus, and I'll have 2 days off a week.
Okay, so you would
So normally, sort of like a Wednesday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And the rest for anyone that's listening is that's when you're going to do the real work, which means you're going to grow, or is when you're resting. As long as you're fueling
your body that, John?
Sufficiently. So
we've been bad at resting.
Less is more. Less is more. Also...
Didn't, sorry to cut you short, C-Bum said that exact thing.
Did he?
I think it was one of the...
That must have been when we spoke when I met him. No, maybe. I'm not sure.
No, I think he said that he was training flat out and then all of a sudden he didn't really see the improvements and then He did his arm before the 5th.
Yeah, his bicep.
His bicep, and then he said he just had to train a lot less, and then he noticed more improvement.
And that's sort of where I've been going the last couple of years. So I only do, believe it or not, let's say, so what are you going to train on Monday? I won't be training because my back's
I'll be doing back. I'm actually going to be doing back.
Okay.
It's back day.
Chest cardio.
I would go back day. All right. So I would go 2 working sets for back, right, per exercise. So I would pick 4 main back exercises split between my width and my thickness movements, and potentially some traps or rear delts, and then I'd do biceps on the end. I'd tag that on the end. So I would do no more than 10 working sets for back.
Yeah.
And let's say you're doing the low row machine at the gym.
Yep.
I do my warm-ups and my priming sets, and then I've got 2 sets, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
That's it. Next exercise, 2 sets. Next exercise.
What do you, when you're saying two sets, how many reps are you pull on? Is it going for weight?
Anywhere between 10 to 15.
And you're going for max weight?
And I'm going for max weight where I can control the form on both the concentric and eccentric phase with good form.
So how important is form for everyone out there?
I'd say form is more important than the weight that you move, and then work up to the weight.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're jerking the movement, if you're not contracting the muscle or having that mind-muscle connection, weight doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Because you're not moving it in a positive plane that's going to engage the muscle and therefore cause muscle growth over time.
And how have you learnt that over your course? Is it through a coach, trainer?
I've had a coach my whole bodybuilding career, but I think through content watching of Chris Bumstead and the coaches that he's got, and being in the industry and being exposed to these different people, that you do pick up things along the way.
Yeah.
You do pick up things. So like if I said to you guys, all right, let's pick the typical bro bench press, right?
Yep.
And I said to you, we're doing 4 sets. What set are you saving yourself for in line with what most people at the gym do?
What set am I saving myself for?
Yeah, what set? 1 or 4?
4.
Right. And
to the last one, I need to make sure I can get it out.
And 4 is going to be the heaviest, right?
Yeah, because it's going to be the hardest. This is the end.
So let's take this analogy and chop it in half.
Yeah.
Right? And you've done your warm-up and your priming set, so your body's ready to go heavy within reason for you, where you're getting maximal work into that muscle in the safest way possible, but you've only got 2 sets. When you go back in the gym on Monday, do 2 working sets. If you can do a third, you haven't trained hard enough.
Yeah, right.
Right?
It's so true, because if you 1 out of 2, you're not going to go, oh, the first one's or the last one. No, it's kind of both. They're going to be, I get that.
And then if you know what you lift for that movement and you set your rep range for muscle hypertrophy, which is growth, right? The weight shouldn't fluctuate too much. You might need to do a slight back off set on that second one. But typically you're ready to rock on that first set and you're going balls to the wall.
Yeah. So you do a warm up.
I do a couple of warm-ups. So I might do my warm-up and get the resistance band. I'll do a few warm-up sets. But I think this day and age, warm-up's overrated regarding the fact that you don't need to do 20 reps, 10 reps, 15 reps, 8 reps, and then start your 4 working sets. I do generally 10 to 12. So I've done my pre-activation stuff at home, getting ready to come. So I'm walking in ready to go.
Yeah.
I'll do 10 reps. With a bit of weight. I'll chuck another plate on. I'll do 5 reps. Then I'll chuck on my working set and I'll do what I call a priming set. I'll do 3 sets. Yeah, tonight that feels good. That's my set. 1 minute break, little bit of a drink, switch my mind on, and then I'm into it. 3 plates on the low row each side, and I'm 12 reps. If I can do more than 12, I'm doing more than 12. Okay, that felt good. I'm going to put it on. 10 each side. This is my last working set. And I'm thinking, balls to the wall, this is the last set I'm ever going to do on this exercise. I'm going for it. And I'm not going till failure. I'm going for it where I'm absolutely tearing that back to shreds with good controlled form. And I know I need to hit 12 to 15 for me, because that's what works best for me. You might be 10, you might be, higher reps, whatever. And then I'm done. And when I'm done, I'm gassed off that one set, and I'm thinking, geez, if I've got that in me again, that's not good enough, Tyler. So 2 working sets. So if you're doing 4 back movements, I don't do any more than 8 working sets. Then I finish off with biceps, and I'm out of there in 55 minutes.
Yeah, right. This is going to be a really hard question. What's your favourite exercise in the gym? What's your favourite, machine? Is it machine?
Body part or
body
exercise?
part? Nah, exercise. Do you have or obvious? Actually, you know what? Body part. Body part first.
Probably shoulders.
Yeah, you've got.
Okay.
I love shoulders.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably say back.
Yep.
Then I'd say back. Chest I love, but
all of it. It's a hard question.
So what's the exercise on shoulders that you really love? That
I always is my staple movement.
Yeah.
You know the incline shoulder press machine, the unilateral one at the gym we've
Yep.
got?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
That's the one. That's the one for shoulders. For back, at the moment, I'm really loving the high row where we're pulling it this way.
Yeah.
The machine. I'm loving that at the moment. And then for chest, I'm loving the unilateral, just staple flat chest press machine, the unilateral one nearest the T-bar row.
Yeah.
I'm loving that at the moment. And I think it's unilateral for me because I'm coming from that mindset with this injury on the left that I know in my head, not anyone else's, that this side's a little bit smaller. So I want to make sure they're trained evenly on both sides. So most of the movements are unilateral for me.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Who's your favourite bodybuilder? Aside from yourself.
Ryan Terry. He won the Olympia physique this year. English guy, UK guy.
No,
I just align with his values of you put the work in, you get rewarded. And for anyone that knows Ryan Terry, he's won every single position from 1st to 10 in the Olympia over the 10 years he's competed. And only this year, just gone into 23, he won the Olympia. Yeah. But previous to 23, so we're talking 2020, 21, 22, he just got knocked back. You're not big enough. You're not full enough. He got 7th. He got 6th. He got 5. And as the years went on, his results kept sliding and getting worse.
So he wasn't getting better.
He wasn't getting any better. And 23, and then he was all right. 22, but then 23, he was just next level. And it just shows that persistence
pays off,
and hard work does pay off.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Well, how long has he done that? How old's he now? He's
mid-30s.
Yeah.
He's 33, 34 now, and he only just won his first Olympia. But if you watch his content, he's just a very genuine family guy, down to earth.
Yeah.
And for me, I guess a lot of feedback I get is my midsection is my best asset. And if you've ever seen Ryan Terry's six-pack, it is probably the best six-pack on the planet. So I guess
Now, question.
envisage myself in him a bit.
Yeah. How do you have such a good six-pack? What's for anyone out there who wants a six-pack?
Okay.
What do you need to be doing?
For a six-pack, everyone's got one. But genetically...
shed the fat.
Correct. But genetically, your muscles, your six-pack is your six-pack. Some have a six-pack, an 8-pack. Some have a 4-pack. Some have a 2-pack. It just is what it is. You can't change your genetics. And bodybuilding is a genetic lottery.
Yeah.
How you get your six-pack to be visible is you need to lose the fat on your stomach, on your midsection. And genetically, most people will carry their fat in certain areas. I myself carry it on my lower back. But other people may carry majority on the midsection and so forth. And that comes down to a hormonal thing too. But you need to be, I sound like a broken record, you need to lose the fat to show the abs, and some people will need to lose more than others.
Okay.
And some people naturally will just have one because they don't carry fat on their midsection, they carry it on their...
Somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere else. So, you need to be in a calorie deficit for a period of time in an efficiently structured manner from a plan point of view to then sort of bring out that six-pack. Yeah.
Now, in the bodybuilding industry, have you seen any misconceptions or public things that you see that you don't approve or don't agree with? Is there anything that sticks out to mind?
I don't want to rock the boat, but I'm going to. Because
Controversy.
we know that, and I remember when you boys said, "Oh, we're going to get you on the podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool. I'm happy to help out and have a chat. I always love to have a chat." And you said, "Look, do you want to see the questions first?" And I said, "Nah, let's just have a chat, and we'll just answer what comes." So I've seen.
Glad I didn't send you. I said to John I was going to send you all the questions, and I didn't end up sending them. But you did say you were like, I don't want them. Like,
you
don't
want them. No, because then to me, and this is just me, it's just not natural.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you do a podcast and you drop some content, sometimes in a certain degree it's got to be scripted.
Yeah.
But then in this essence, some of the best content comes from when it's not scripted.
Yeah.
So that's where I thought, you know what? I'm not a scripted guy. I'm a bit different, bit of a different cat. Let's just roll with it. As far as like misconceptions, well, I mean, where do you want to start? So the first one I've got for anyone out there, and it's recent, is filming.
Okay.
Is filming at the gym.
Oh, yeah. I'm noticing this more at any time at our gym.
And
it's
the only
horrible.
reason I'll say that is, and it's not a knock on the generation, but when I started, filming at the gym was illegal.
Illegal?
You couldn't do it. They'd kick you out. It was strictly no filming. You film, you're out.
Right.
This is when I started. And I guess I've been lucky because I came from a generation where it's old school.
Yeah.
And old school was the harder you work, the more you'll get out.
Yep.
The more you lift, the bigger you'll get.
Rocky style.
Yeah, Rocky style. And it's changed now. And a lot of guys I came through with, they're not doing it anymore, or they're constantly injured, or their shoulders are cooked and their knees are cooked because it was do more. Now my mindset is, no, do less more efficiently and you'll last longer.
Yep.
So I want to be training when I'm 50. And in my head, I've said, I'm still going to be training until the day I go in the hole. And I'm still going to look like this at 70. I'm probably not, because age catches up with you.
But a good goal to aspire to.
A good goal to aspire to. Like,
yeah.
Age is just a number. I'm 38. A lot of people say I don't look 38. Well, I've looked after myself, but I still feel like I'm 24.
Yeah.
And I still act like I'm probably 18. But I haven't... Time goes by so fast that, I'm 38 with a child on the way. I'm married. Where's that time gone? And all of a sudden, I'm nearly 40. But even though I go to the gym, I still feel like I'm 30, I'm 25, I'm 23. I'm still talking with people in the gym that 19, and I'm like, I'm 19 years older than you, and I'm thinking, wow. So the filming, because social media didn't exist when I was coming through, so the filming one's got me where I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it takes the purity of the sport away, where when I started it was an underground sport.
That's so true. Yeah.
And
That's a good way to put it.
And now it's a very mainstream accepted sport.
Bring back Fight Club.
Yeah. And so you go to the gym and people will be like, you go to the gym? Yeah, I go to the gym. Oh, that's why you must be taking things to look like that.
Yeah.
No. It's just diet and hard work. Now it's like everyone wants to do bodybuilding. And I've even seen this in the sport competitive side, where I think I'm probably getting out at the right time, because, I'm not necessarily in agreement with what we see, because the politics are starting to rule the sport, and politics.
And that's what happens once something becomes big, doesn't it?
Once it becomes big and mainstream, everyone wants to do it. So everyone thinks they can do it. And so the standard of Australian bodybuilding has come down regarding the condition that you'll see the athletes in, as a throwback to the old school.
Okay.
And I'm more old school, and I'm old school minded.
Yeah.
The other thing I hate, I've got to tell you, the thing I hate, and again, it was a rule when I was coming through that you had to have closed-toed shoes at gym. Everyone's wearing Crocs or slides. Now, what the hell is with Crocs?
No.
I told my wife if she buys Crocs, I'll divorce her.
So I have Crocs.
Oh, okay.
But
No,
I'm not
don't
your
wear
wife.
hang on,
No,
hang
no,
on.
but I won't
Don't
wear them to
okay
the
that.
gym.
Hey, it doesn't matter whether
No,
you're a
it's
gym or not.
perfectly fine.
Crocs were not acceptable wherever you were.
Yeah.
They're terrible, and no, they should not be worn at the gym. They look terrible. They always have.
Yeah.
Let's cut the shit.
Yeah.
But people wearing like socks and like clocks and
slides.
stuff at the slides and stuff, and it's like.
I
I would have thought that. I would have thought that would have been health and safety as well. If
Isn't
you drop
it? If you
something
drop
on
away.
your,
I thought so, but it doesn't seem to be regulated in general,
Mm.
and just in general at any gym. But that's and then the last one. Geez, this could rock some boats here. Is people have done a fitness training course and it's not regulated. I'll just put that out there for 6 months, 3 months. They're now a trainer, and now they are an influencer, or they are a prep or bodybuilding coach, and they're giving advice. And this is probably the biggest issue I have with the industry, is that people are being given advice that shouldn't be giving advice because they don't know what they're doing either, or they've never been in shape themselves regarding what they're trying to sell to the general public, and you're opening up a can of worms where it can be dangerous and creating an unhealthy relationship with food for people. And you don't know what people's psyche is in their background, but they're putting the trust in these people because they are a PT, but a PT is not qualified to give any type of meal plan, generally speaking, to anyone.
right.
And it's about the regulation of that industry.
Mm.
That's probably the biggest one, because then I've seen 21-year-olds that have done a 12-week challenge. They love the gym. They become a PT in 12 weeks, and then they turn around and they call themselves an online coach and start charging people $100, and I can do this meal plan and get you really shredded and booty band this and kick back that and hip thrust that.
It's like a real estate agent giving financial advice.
Right.
See where it's going to go.
It's like a poor accountant. It's like doesn't matter if you've done a degree or whatnot. You don't have any money.
And it's just again, I entered the sport for the purity of what the physique look like. Physique is, and to me, physique competing, whether it's bodybuilding, men's physique that I do, fitness, whatever it is, it's the purity of the hard work to get the physique in that condition. That's what should be judged, not the politics of the posing coach you work with, who's your coach, what federation you're affiliated to. That shouldn't come into the result of your physique.
Yeah.
And your physique should be judged amongst others based on the criteria of that federation for that physique. And that's where the social media has, I guess, put a dampener on physique competing, but also the fitness industry in general, because everyone and anyone now wants to compete.
Yeah.
Anyone and everyone now is a online coach or fitness trainer. And
fitness influence, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I teach kids that want to be influencers now versus going to uni, getting a job, or following the trade, or real estate, or anything like that. They want to be an influencer or a gamer. And I think that's setting up this generation to ultimately fail, because you're in a saturated market where only a small percentage is ever going to make it.
And how useful is it in the long run for the human race? Is if everyone's in 30 years, everyone's an influencer and plays PS5.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. If I'll throw a curveball.
It's a big if.
If the PS5 can control drones and there's a war, they might be all right. They might be all right. And if they're all fit and healthy and they've decided to do Rocky but fake
if you're an influencer, come save me, please.
Please. Yeah. Like, put the hotspot on it. Like, send a video to the socials. Save me now. Like,
so I get your point, though. I get your point. I get your
100%.
point, though. Yeah, I get your point massively.
Yeah.
So that was it. They're your three misconceptions.
Those are my three ones. And the biggest ones I've noticed since I started, it's like, geez, if I did that when I was 19 in a gym, they kicked me out.
Amazing how you said it was illegal.
They'd take my membership off me.
Yeah. I find it really hard. I don't know if anyone else does, but when you're trying to do a deadlift or something, and you turn to your left, and the camera's set up, and you see the people who genuinely they're like chicks filming. Oh, he can't believe he looked at me. Yeah. I'm sorry, but when you're literally finished a set, the last thing you're thinking about is that you're just genuinely looking in a direction. If you see the camera, or you're looking or caught a glimpse or whatever it may be, I think it's ridiculous. Yeah. And I think there's already cameras in the gym, which is for safety. Yeah. Why are we now putting cameras in cameras? And not only that, it's not okay to be you don't know what people are filming.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the thing.
So that's the interesting one that I'm surprised, because it makes sense why it was illegal before. Like if I went, let's say we weren't at the gym and went anywhere else, like I went to a place of work and someone was filming, I'd immediately tell them to stop.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anyone, you've got no right to film me. It's interesting how the gym you're allowed to do it.
Well, in schools, the statewide rule is that ban phones first bell to last bell.
Yeah.
And so
when did that come in?
2 years ago.
That's good.
If you film something, doesn't matter what it is, and you pass it on, and that goes viral, you can actually get charged by the police. So my question is, what's different in a gym if you've already got cameras for safety or people filming and you're in the background and they post it? It's being passed around. So when did it become okay to... And you can say, I'm filming it for my technique. Good on you. But you're in a public place.
You've also got 100 mirrors around you.
You've got 100 mirrors, and mirrors are used for your technique.
Legit.
Why do you need to film?
Yeah. We don't go to the gym. I get it if there was no mirrors. Yeah. That would make a lot of sense. But
attention.
Yeah.
Attention.
Yeah. And the last one, this is going to rock some boats.
We got 4.
I've got a daughter on the way.
Okay.
And this one only just come to me because I'm just like, holy.
We were saying scripted wasn't good. We don't want scripted.
But this one, dude, tell me, girls, please, what is with the scrunch bum leggings, and when did it become okay not to wear anything under them to enhance or try to enhance your backside? And also, I thought we went to the gym to train, not to look in the mirror at our backside. So
I think it comes to what we were talking to before. Is it not all for attention?
Wow.
But it's what you were saying before, how they've got the camera going and that guy looked at me. Where the fuck am I supposed to look?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. You're naked.
Yeah.
I think
less is more these days, apparently.
Well, you said less is more before, but you said with X is but no, we're just taking the mickey on that one. But I think it's horrible. You go into the gym. I think it's okay if you've got an outstanding physique. You walk in and you've got your tank,
but
and
even
you
if
look.
I do.
You're not taking your shirt off.
I'm not taking my shirt off to train.
No.
Well, we wouldn't. You just wouldn't do it.
But you may as well, given the nature of the beast at the moment. Like, if the girls are doing, they're coming in nothing and not leaving much to the imagination, you can nearly see what they have for breakfast, some of them. Well, I may as well just take my top off. It's 38 degrees on Monday. My back's stuffed. Well, I can't train chest, but I normally would. I'm just going to come in shirtless.
But that's what I don't understand. Like you said, and it comes back to your discipline and the why you're the way you are. It's not through the attention or the crap. It's purely to be at the top and be judged by it.
It's the purity of the sport.
Yeah.
That's second to, I just love to train.
Yeah.
Well, I think it comes down to what you were saying before. I think what you were saying before, just even about the elite level, that's becoming saturated. The standard is dropping. Well, that's going to happen at the gym as well in terms of it is there for just attention. It's to take photos. It's to get attention from other people. Yeah. And it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But is it great when you're working out? No. But is it? I don't think it's going to go away, guys.
No, it's not going to go.
If anything,
I just go to train.
Sure.
But these are the things when you're as old as I am now, and you did come through a lot earlier when everything was different, and everything evolves.
Yeah.
real estate, everything.
Not always
all
for the
that stuff.
better.
But not all exactly.
Yeah.
But not always for the better. And I think there is going to come a time where some of these things will be regulated to a degree, and there's going to be a bit of an uproar. And I know I saw a post from Tony Doherty just particularly ripping through people that film on tripods and blocking avenues throughout the gym.
Well, there's also that avenue as well.
Posted about a week ago. And I think he's the first big name person since social media has become a thing and filming content and becoming an influencer, particularly a gym influencer, that's actually spoken out about the, negatives of social media and what it's done to the fitness industry. But it is what it is. We're not going to stop it, but yeah, there's some big ones.
I guess bringing attention to it actually does help. With the they're clearly not those those misconceptions. They're definitely there, so it makes sense.
There have been more videos though, because you know how girls were like sort of trying. They were almost like they were purposely trying to catch someone looking at them. There's only so much space that you can look at. Like they weren't looking at you.
That's right.
That has been shown to light more that I have been seeing. Like people were like, dude, no one was looking at you. Who cares? That is being called out a bit more. So maybe that's a
or
good
if you
thing.
get in their video unintentionally, but they don't want you in their video, and it's like, well, like how am I supposed to get to that dumbbell rack if you're
filming with a tripod?
It's a quick response. It's like you're in the way. This is a public gym.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you just don't give them time. You don't give them the convo.
Yeah.
It's like bang.
Yeah, but I found them get quite upset when you want to challenge that. Hang on, I need to actually. I'm not going to wait till you're finished. Like this is a public space, and we all pay a membership. That it becomes something where I think the new age want to keep it because they don't think it's ever going to go away. And I don't think it's ever going to go away, but you need to still be respectful
Of other people's space.
And how you do that. Look, I don't have the answer, but...
Well, that comes down to the generation and...
Unless you're 7'10" Wemby in the gym pumping out a set and the tripod's there and you go, what, mate, don't do that. I think I'd probably listen to that guy.
Yeah. But it's not even...
regardless.
It's not even that. Like, whether you're a gym or someone else, the respect is completely leaving the generations and it will only keep getting worse. So gym's just a byproduct of what's happening in society sort of thing. Yeah. Like think about it, 30, 40 years ago, you would give up your seat. No, not even that long ago, 5, 10 years ago, you'd give up your seat if you saw a pregnant lady.
Yeah. Still now.
Or
but not
many people don't do it.
But it's like some of them don't.
Yeah.
More often than not, they won't.
Well,
like if I see an old lady, like it's always been, here's my seat. I can stand. Like I'm a young kid.
Yeah.
I'm capable.
But so I think what we're seeing at the gym in just that's relative to it is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else? I think we've had a long chat. It's been great.
It's been good.
Is there anything you'd like to promote? Anything you would like to, I guess, final with the viewers?
Well, don't always reach out if you've got questions.
Yeah.
People in the gym, and this is the industry, there's a stigma around, if you're in shape, you aren't approachable. And I've said this to many people. Hey, I don't know you. You've come up and you've introduced. If you ever got any questions, don't be afraid to ask. And that would be my main one. And always be, as a person who has been on both sides where they've been judged to be someone they're not, and then it's like, I didn't know you were like that till I actually came and spoke to you. I thought you were, and it was quite a negative, idea of what I was like just because I do a sport that is not your basketball or football. Is don't judge a book by its cover.
And we can attest from since we have known you, like straight away you've just been welcome. You're always up for a chat, always happy to answer questions. So I can attest from that from a personal experience.
Gym is a part of me. It's not me. It's not who I want to be, but it's just something I love to do. And you always want to help the next generation, and kind of put them on that path, because there's part of the generation where you go, it's going a bit askew and things like that. But
No, that's awesome. No, and I completely agree. You've been nothing but help with any questions or anything. You've always been you're always a good guy. I don't know why I'm speaking like I feel like I'm at a funeral now, but anyway, lastly, who's going to win the Super Bowl? 49ers or the Chiefs?
Everyone's just talking about it. I felt like we had to get
I do love the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
now, I'm a Cowboys fan.
Ooh.
Yeah, we've been no good for 73 years, and I thought this was our year, and no. So still getting over the fact that we're no good. Well, we should have been better, but so I don't know if he can go past Mahomes.
That was
And the whole, it's almost like it's going to happen, and it's just it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
It's a pretty good game with 49ers and...
But the 49ers, like, if you think...
Well, how old's their quarterback?
That's...
Like, he's 37.
36, 7.
We'll look him up.
You've got a guy who's been working his whole career to this point, and then you got Mahomes, who every championship adds... he catches Tom Brady.
You got the history of the 49ers too, and what the Super Bowl is to the 49ers. It's almost like it's the same as the Miami Dolphins and Dan Marino. It's like the Super Bowl is, and then it's got that mystique and prestige about it, the 49ers. So you kind of go like, it's like the old cars when they come back, and they become the cars that people want. That's what the 49ers are. It's like,
it's actually a good matchup tomorrow. Like, it's actually a really cool matchup that it's going to be.
I do know a few people taking the day off.
Oh, 100%.
Just for that.
And I've been prone to occasionally
take it up.
doing that.
I think
tomorrow I can't.
Because what time does it start?
11.
Yeah, so
11 on SBS.
I'm pretty sure we've got the big screen at work. I'm pretty sure
it's an easy day at work.
It's not, but we're gonna have that while we're doing our callbacks. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's tomorrow 10:30.
10:30.
Cool.
Yeah. So
I'll be doing the same.
Yeah, 100%.
So who are you boys on?
I'll go for. I'm not a massive fan, but we're slowly getting into it. And then doing this, you sort of take an interest. We'll be going Mahomes.
Yeah,
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
I don't think you can go past him. He's in form. He is the poster child of the NFL at this stage. So
correct.
Let's see.
And especially after
you just want a good game, though.
Yeah.
Well, I think, like you said about the 49, everything. Both teams have a really good narrative to play for. So whoever wins is okay.
What about? And this is where the AFL could learn, right? What about the halftime entertainment?
Who's doing the halftime?
Well, I thought you would know. I don't. But last year,
it's not meat. It's not meatloaf.
Nah, it's not meatloaf.
No, we had Robbie. We had Robbie Williams and Delta, didn't we?
Yeah.
Delta, didn't we?
Oh,
was that the year before?
Nah, they were fantastic.
They were huge. They were really good.
Yeah.
They were really good.
Robbie was good.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Robbie was good. So
Usher.
Oh, that's huge.
That's huge. I thought Taylor Swift was flirted there because of the.
I think it was because of the concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can't.
But yeah, I mean, Usher's a pretty good one to have.
Do you know what? I don't watch any of that.
Oh,
any of the entertainment for the AFL.
They say it's like 3 million just to feature an ad during the screening of.
I've seen 7.
7.
Maybe. Well, actually,
is this and then during the NFL?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Seconds.
It's ridiculous. 30 seconds. It's like millions.
That's my problem. That take the halftime entertainment out because I've been in the NFL. Yeah. Like there's a break every 2 seconds, obviously each play, and every second they are shoving advertising in your face. I don't want footy to be like that. AFL to be like that.
It's the same with the NBA. It's almost like advertise this next. They're
advertising the next game at the start of a blockbuster. It's like, can I just enjoy?
Do you reckon the AFL could learn something though from because
their halftime entertainment is much better.
They seem to hit it every year, but I think the AFL Grand Final entertainment. I think it's like. It's just
it's lackluster. It doesn't have that flair to it, and I guess maybe it's a supply and demand issue for them.
I think
to get such a good star. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Footy's very different because it's not stop start. So at that halftime, like watching like the granny, which is like Christmas for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting watching the TV. I'm going to have a break. I'm going to have a drink. Yeah. While I don't know NFL basketball, like there's a break every 20 seconds. Yeah. Like they're constantly stopping.
But it's almost like a concert within a show. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool in the sense of the halftime show and how they do it really well. Because I actually take the time to watch. I don't watch the NFL. I never watched I've watched it a few times, but like I'll watch just the halftime show and I'll jump on because they always release it. And you watch the 20-minute full thing and it's awesome. Like, it's compared to the AFL.
Of course.
They do it 10 times better. Now, where can the viewers find you if you want them to follow you on social media?
Look,
If you don't, it's entirely up to you.
Look, I have an Instagram, but I only have an Instagram because everyone has an Instagram and you're in touch. But look, if anyone wants to reach out, my Instagram is just Tyler. What actually is it? Tyler.
I would use my phone.
Anthony Wilsmore. It's just my name. It's just my name. And it's open. It's not private. So, you can find me there or reach out. I've had a few people reach out that I met you at this or in the gym. And generally the questions are always gym related. And look, disclaimer, I'm not qualified, but I have experience and I just try and give general advice from my viewpoint that can help anyone in that industry.
Awesome.
Whatever they're trying to achieve.
Awesome, mate.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's been an absolute
pleasure.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. Especially with the bad back.
Yeah, we'll see how we go when we get up.
With a kid expecting as well. You did a lot to get here, so we do appreciate it. We've had a lot of fun today.
Really enjoyed it. Loved it, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. Make sure you give Tyler a follow, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.
See you guys.
Cheers.